Welcome back to Power Play. We're coming to you live from the foyer of the House of Commons. Okay, the shootings may have had a hidden casualty. The Muslim community is bracing for a bad reaction across Canada. To discuss this, we're joined from our Ottawa Bureau by Chelby Daigle. She is editor of the Muslim Link here in Ottawa. Welcome to the show, Chelby. I'm just wondering if you've experienced or heard any experiences of backlashes yet in the Muslim community.
Definitely, yes. Through exchanges with friends, particularly young people who've gone back to school, gone back to just their daily lives. There's definitely been incidents of people, even going as far as saying, go back to your country. And one young woman actually, she shared on her as a Facebook post that she was in the washroom, she was putting on her hijab. A woman approached her, said, why don't you go back to her country? And she just, the young woman just responded by casually opening up her wallet, showing her birth certificate, and showing, I'm a Canadian, this is my country. So definitely these sort of incidents are unfortunately happening. And then, of course, even since yesterday, we've seen, particularly on Twitter, through social media, a lot of hate speech, against the Muslim community. But also, the conversation within the community is how to appropriately react to this, as individuals or as a community, how to appropriately respond, not to further the prejudice, but actually try to open up dialogue.
Exactly. Good point. What is the message you hope? I mean, you wrote an open letter to Canadians. What's the message you want to get out about the faith that you have and what it really stands for, not what these people seem to make it stand for?
I did not write that open letter. That was actually written and drafted as a large-scale community effort by imams and local Muslim organizations and even Muslim youth organizations. So they came together, and I was just asked to share it widely. So I didn't write that, but it definitely reflects the sentiments of many Muslims in Ottawa-Gatineau. We want people to know that this is not us. This is not our religion. We denounce this, and we also feel that we are attacked ourselves. I mean, Muslims are members of the Canadian Armed Forces. They're members of the police service. They're members of the RCMP. We are also targets of this. So we want people to know that we're standing in solidarity against this, that we feel as threatened by it. But we also hope that we can maintain, what we love so much about Canadian democracy and the society, which is this respect for civil liberties, this respect for diversity. So we hope that we can work together to address the serious threats we're facing, but also not lose what we value so much, what so many people actually came for. People have left countries where there was no democracy and there was persecution, and have come to Canada for those freedoms. So there's concern about losing those.
Chelby, what was very clear with the incident in Montreal area was that the community actually alerted the police. The parents alerted the police, and the imam tried to work with the victim, or the shooter, or sorry, it wasn't the shooter, this was the hit-and-run driver, to try and reverse that radicalization. In some ways, the Muslim community itself is the canary in the coal mine on this. They're going to be the first to spot problems. How do you spot it and reverse that radicalization? Can it be done?
Well, that's the risk. I mean, people have, our community leaders have been working and have been communicating with, national security. But the reality is that oftentimes if people have really gone down a road of a hateful ideology, they are also turning against Muslims who are against that ideology, because it's often a you're with us or against us kind of way of looking at things. So Muslims are trying, and they're reaching out, and particularly parents of young people. But we are just as vulnerable because if you're seen as contradicting this ideology, you're seen as maybe not being a very good Muslim. But people are still trying, and so definitely right now a lot of discussions in the community are how to successfully address the issue of radicalization, but also, do we even have basic supports for new converts? And I think that's been some of the very interesting discussion, because, even before all this, there's just been questions about, like, wait a minute, if you're a new convert to Islam, where do you find out about Islam? How do you connect closely to the community? particularly for men, because you know, women who convert to Islam often it's easier to get into that sisterhood. But if you're a man, and particularly if you're not in school, it might be easier to be distant. So there's even just basic questions about, you know, people who aren't at risk of radicalization but just are new to the religion. How are we supporting them? So definitely when you go to the next level of radicalization, there's a lot of questions, and people are reaching out to the authorities, to mainstream, and even also internationally. I mean, there's de-radicalization programs like in Germany, and people are trying to learn from them.
Okay. Cheryl Daigle, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, crisis communications was never needed more than the last 30 hours. After the break, we'll get our expert to assess the performance of the party leaders, the police, and the global media. Please stay with us.